Okay. Can you see the screen? Okay. Thank you. So welcome everyone. Next, we'll start today's presentation by wishing Mr. Amish Vyas and Nirav Mandlik a very happy birthday. So far in 4 sessions earlier, we have gone through getting started by a real estate agent. So whenever he starts in the real estate industry, what he should know and everything. In part 2, we understood marketing, how to do marketing, the basic principles of marketing. Then prospecting, how to do prospecting, who can be your prospects. And then in last week we understood working with sellers. So today we are going to see working with buyers. We all want to work with buyers. So this is the today's agenda. We'll see them one by one. Next. So whenever anyone start their career in real estate, they initially like to work with buyers. So there are many reasons for this. They want to work with buyer. Typically, sellers pay the commission and look for more experience, which is why a sales associate will usually start working with a buyer, because he has a buyer. The commission will be paid if he provides him a house or a shop or whatever he is looking for. So it is an easier task for him to work with buyer initially. So, but regardless, you are a sales associate who wants to build a business, and the buyers you work with will be your future sellers also. So it is very important to build a good relationship with them, so they will trust you with the sale of their home in the future. So you should be friendly, helpful, understanding, listening to their needs, and always maintain a constant communication. And a good service is always a key to success, because you want to become the buyer's agent for life. So always try to establish as early as possible how serious this buyer is. The person whom you are meeting is more likely a genuine buyer if you can find out some of the reasons. Suppose he is out of town buyer, and due to work transfer he has come to your city and he is seeking for a house or apartment, then he is most probably a very serious buyer. If their homes are listed, someone is meeting you and his home is already listed, or maybe his home is sold and he is looking for another house, he is a serious buyer, because he will need a house to live. If someone has referred you, if he has come to meet you with reference to someone, then he is a serious buyer. If they are pre-approved for financing, if they sign a buyer representation agreement with you, and by any means, if you can establish a sense of urgency for any reason, then they are a serious buyer. So where do you find this kind of buyers? So there are numerous ways to find buyers. Typically, they come to light in your day-to-day business through many areas, like you have given a call, you have given an advertisement and someone has called. Then your former clients contact you, your friends, your center of influence. You have held open houses and people have come there to see. So then they are serious buyers, because they have come to see the open house. So typically they might be interested in that home. Client with their current home listed. You have got inquiries from website or your email. You have posted something on social media. We want to sell this house. It's a very good deal for you, 4 BHK in this area at very affordable rate, and someone has inquired, seeing that advertise, he can be a buyer. You have given advertisement, flyers, just sold and just listed inquiry, referral from old sales associates. See, this reference from veteran sales associate is something every new sales associate should eye for, because see what this Fire Up series is always for a new sales associate who has joined Remax or joined real estate industry. So so what happens is many successful agents have more business than they know what to do with, and if they do not have a team, they will drop buyers first due to their time requirement and lack of control. So new agents should always make a conscious effort to work with these senior sales associates and let them know you will work their buyers leads and pay them a referral fee. Other agents specialize in working with buyers either because they enjoy the effort in finding their homes, or they want to build a client base and see this area as an opportunity to do that. But question becomes, how can you attract as many as possible and then ensure that to maximize the use of your time? So many new agents start by going after buyers and then fail to qualify them, and then spend many hours in the end getting poor results. So what should be the ideal way? An excellent way to pick up buyers in the beginning when you do not have any listing of your own is to do open house for other agents. Okay, so speak to the other agents in your office and see what they have available. So, but however, you do not take just any open house. You should look for a new listing in a high traffic area and also at a price point that will attract many buyers, and ideally in your own farm area, so you know the nitty-gritty of that area. So remember, you are not just selling real estate, not just selling real estate. As always, you are selling yourself. You are selling yourself. You are selling your services, and by doing this you are building trust. So you need to be constantly meeting people and building relationship. As always, we are saying you join clubs, some association, and get involved in your community like this. Go where you will find people and make sure that they all know what you do and that you need and appreciate their reference. So what can we do to attract these buyers? You should start by looking at the typical sources of obtaining buyers and then develop a prospecting plan to target these buyers, so-called buyers as of now. So decide on the services you can offer these buyers. Option available to you may include home matching service. That means where you have a system to email new listing, meeting the buyer's criteria of price range, his required neighborhood, etc. As the listing comes to market, comes to you, you should have a system to send it to prospective buyers. Offer these services on your website also to the buyers who provide contact information. Then market evaluation of their present home. sign into your mailing list, sign them into your mailing list so that you can send them market updates. Provide them with a buyer information booklet on various topics. Suppose how to buy, what should you take care while buying a new property. There are many agents and many offices who are dealing to developers property, new property. Then you can have a booklet ready with you about the buyer's information for primary market buyers. So where you can give information if you are buying a new apartment, what you should look for, when the project gets completed, the builder's past experience, past projects, etc. So that they know as of now when they are meeting you and when you are showing a new property, that property matches all that parameters or not. You should offer to detail legal and marketing searches for house that are interested in. You can say due diligence. You can show them a home search plan, so you can actively target homes that meet their needs. You can send them letters like, I have a buyer looking for a home in your area, something like it. Pre-qualifying or assistance arranging for finance. So you should have knowledge of agents who are dealing with bank loans. So you can ask them to meet this agent. He can pre-qualify you for arranging finance. Then you can hold buyer seminar with your office and other offices also, where you can invite first time buyers, investment property buyers, recreational property. Some people want to have a second home for like weekend homes. So you can have seminars on these various topics also. You can have an expertise in neighborhood, like pricing, schools, etc. You should have knowledge of all these things. So you may be interested in attracting a specific type of buyer. Suppose you want only first time buyer, you want apartment buyer, you want buyers looking in a specific neighborhood area, or you want buyers who wants recreational properties. Some people wants new construction home only. Some people want executive homes. So there are numerous niche market which you may pursue. By doing this, you will naturally attract those buyers by offering expertise in the area and property these clients are looking for. Next. So how do you qualify a buyer? It is very frustrating and disheartening that you have spent long hours in the field with buyer and only to find that he has decided not to buy. He has decided not to buy. He buy directly from first sale by owner. Someone has given advertisement to sell his home and he met him and he has bought home. They buy from another agent. This is very frustrating. Other than other reasons, they buy and not qualify for the loan. So what you should do before, if you don't want to face these 4 reasons, so there are 4 ways of dealing with this problem. Number 1, you should have the buyer pre-qualified for financing. How do you do that? So you need to find buyers that are really ready, willing and able to pay. So to be able to buy, they must have the ability to finance their own purchase. So first step is to have them pre-qualified for loan. So there is no point showing a 90 lakh rupees home to a buyer who is qualified to buy a rupees 80 lakh rupees of home. So it will be difficult for him to arrange that extra 10 lakh rupees. So you may qualify the buyer yourself, or better you refer him to a bank or a loan agent whom you know. So who has access to credit record and can give you later starting what they qualified for. You have the buyer sign a represent agreement. First you should have pre-qualify them for financing. Then you should have the buyer sign a representation agreement. Then pre-qualify for urgency. So to find out a buyer is actually ready to buy, you need to know their motivation. Why are they looking? It is very important in order to find the right home and then to sell them on that home. Buyer's remorse is a real concern. Buyer's remorse means someone has bought a home on your recommendation and then he is saying, यार मुझे ये house नहीं खरीदना था, मुझे तो ऐसा चाहिए था. I was not looking for such house. So it is called buyer's remorse. So it is a real concern and you can overcome it by reiterating the reasons they were looking to buy in the first place, and also obtain a commitment for loyalty. See, you may show a buyer many homes that meet their needs and wants, then only to have them not make an offer. So they need to be willing to buy. Buyer get concerned when they think the price is too high, and if they wait, the price will come down. They also care about what their parents or friend will think, or that they will make a mistake, so let them ask someone else. So you should overcome this with trust. They need to trust you in order to clear the last hurdles. Like, I should ask someone whether if I will wait, then there will be price reduction in future, etc. So you should have all the answer ready. This means holding their hand through the process. Never lose sight that you are the professional. So be strong through the process. Buyers are looking for leadership. Buyers will lose their trust if you do not exude confidence. So you should have a confidence all the time during the deal, because they want a strong ally who represents their interests. So please remember, people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. So how do you qualify a buyer? Suppose someone has called you from your advertise looking for a home. So you should have a script ready, or you should have memorized it, that pre-qualifies them for urgency. Suppose someone has called you today from your advertise. So there are set of questions you should ask them. Not all the question I will say here you should ask. You should gauge the situation. You should understand his requirement, and accordingly you should rephrase this question also, because the same question will not qualify for each and every inquiry. Suppose someone has called, so you have to ask, when do you want to move? What is the importance of the time? How would your plan be affected if you move sooner or later? Suppose there is a change, or there is a delay in finding the property, or there is immediate property available. So if he says I want to move in 1 month or 2 months, maybe in a 2 month, and if you have property handy. So this question is important. If it happened earlier, then what? Or maybe it take more than 2 months time, then what? How much your plan will be affected? So if you found a home today, are you prepared to purchase, or you will have to find home loan, etc., or you want to meet someone, etc. Where are you currently living? So you know in which area he is living and which area looking for. Do you own your present home, or are you renting? Will you need to sell your current home before you purchase? Suppose the answer of one of the question is I am living in my own home, then will you need to sell your current home before your purchase, like that? Have you been pre-qualified for a loan with any bank? How long have you been looking for a new home? How many homes you have looked at till now? And suppose you have looked at those many homes, why haven't you buy one of those houses? Was there any reason, or those homes were not fitting your requirement? Is there anyone else who is going to be purchasing this home with you? Suppose, are you working with another sales associate? If yes, have you signed an exclusive buyer agreement? is the agreement current or has it expired and now you have come to me because he could not find a home for you? Do you have any other ad circled? Suppose he has seen your ad today's newspaper, he might have circled another advertise also in that newspaper. So you should ask, have you seen other ads also, or have you circled any other ads that you are planning to call for information? If yes, then please give me that names and addresses. I will research it for you and provide the information when we meet again. Then you have to qualify him for finances, whether he is able to buy the home or not. So you should ask the question, what price range do you have in mind? How did you decide on that amount? Suppose he says that I want to buy a home in Powai in this much rupees. So you have to ask, how do you arrive at amount? Does he know the current rates of Powai area or not, or any area you are dealing with, right? So how much over that amount would you go if the home was really appealing? So you know which homes you can show. Suppose he has given you that I want a home about 80 lakh rupees and you have a home around 85-88 lakh rupees. So if he says, if you have qualified him earlier only, okay, 7-8 lakh rupees doesn't matter if I need a good house or good home which is very appealing. So then you can show him those houses also other than his budget. Is your down payment ready, or are you going to get it from somewhere? Do you have the down payment in your own saving accounts, or you have to arrange it? Accordingly, you can make initial offer to other people. Then needs and priority you need to check. So what will this move accomplish for you? Suppose, what neighborhood interests you? How far from work do you want to be? So he says that I cannot want to buy a home more than 10-15 kilometers from this area. When you show him an apartment, then it is better to ask in the beginning only before trying to search a home for him. So suppose you are in a satellite, you have a apartment in Gotha or maybe in somewhere else, and he doesn't want to go. When you say, okay, I have identified a home for you, he says, no, I don't want to go for 4-5 kilometers away from here. Then we should have asked that question in first place. What type of home are you looking for and what size? Like this. Are you moving up or scaling down? So maybe you are living in a 2 BHK as of now and you want a 3 BHK house, or you want to come down to 2 BHK. Suppose someone has a requirement, as the children have moved away, they have gone abroad and now they are looking for a home which is smaller than what they were having earlier, or maybe vice versa. So you should have those questions ready. So you should use this information together to decide whether these people you want to show a home to now or get a pre-qualified first. Have an arrangement with a favorite loan lender which is working with you, to call them and have the lender sell them on you. Pre-qualifying for loan tells that they are serious about purchasing. So if they give some information to that loan lender or an agent who is into loan selling, and they give all the information to them, okay, these are my information, these are my income, these are my documents, and they allow that loan lender to qualify them, so then they are most probably they are serious lender, serious buyer. Otherwise no one would do that much exercise. So after this, what you need to do? You need to meet buyer and take a buyer interview. So purpose of the buyer interview is to find out how best to assist your client and to build client loyalty and rapport. Buyer interviews are important in building your real estate business. These interviews build a foundation of client which you can expect years of future business. What happens if you do not take buyer interview for several questions? Personally, then you do not have idea about the requirement of buyers. And if you have taken 5, 6, 7 interviews so far, then what happens, you have some FAQs ready that which all buyers are asking in their interview with you. So you have some answers ready. So where should you take buyer interview? The buyer interview should always be held at your office, unless the buyer has a home to sell also. In that case, you will be doing a listing presentation, because if he has a home to sell, so you will also be doing a listing presentation. Okay, by this way I will be selling your home, and that is done at buyer's home. Otherwise, it is done at your office. When should you take interview? The interview should be conducted before showing a buyer any home. So you have a number of objectives during the interview, but most important is to establish trust and great rapport. Determine the why behind the move and the emotion that they are using to make the buying decision. You need really to know what are the emotions to buy decision. We all buy things because it appeals to our emotions. We then rationalize our emotions through logic. To create long-term satisfied client, a great salesperson makes sure the buyer's emotions are met. So now you need to do a buyer presentation. So it should include offer of purchase and sale agreement, your current loan rate and financing information if they need. If you ask them and they have said, okay, I will need a loan to buy this home, then you should provide this, otherwise not. You should have articles on market condition and statistics. You must have seen in Times of India, every Sunday you have a Times property page. It gives some information of new area every Sunday. Bhopal, Navawada, Rani, in Mumbai, another area like that, in Pune also. So everywhere in Times property they are giving information. They are also giving information about the last week prices of important area of that city. What you should do, you should cut those article, and also you can make an Excel sheet or a document and keep it in with you in your file, so which is handy at any point of time you are sitting with your buyer. You should have your newsletter included in it. You can always send testimonial, area information, schools, utility and amenity information, right? Buyer guide, which we discussed earlier, closing cost information. Suppose if we close this deal, what will be the closing cost, right? Your office brochure, your own brochure, personal brochure, meet XYZ broker with your contact information, etc. It's covered. So now obtain all the relevant buyer information. So when you are meeting with him, get their correct names with correct spellings. Get all the phone numbers, including business, email, everything. Important details, their employment details, where are they working, since how they are working, family members with names, age, education, because you might want to give some gift at the end of the deal, right? If you are out of town, where family and friends are located. Then discuss finances. So clients are qualified based on 3 criteria, and you need to know details of each to ascertain where to have them pre-qualified. Their employment history is needed, because have they been in the same occupation for last 1 year, and if not, in the same industry. If they are self-employed, what was their total income? The bank will credit for deductible self-employed expenses such as car lease, etc. Then down payment. How much, and do they have access for more than down payment? Credit. Are they aware of anything that may be a concern? Suppose if they are going to take a loan, they should have all the concerns ready for getting loan or for not getting loan. Then discuss buyer's needs and want. So have them describe their present home in detail, area, number of rooms in that home. What is the best feature of their current home and why? Why they say that is the best feature. Accordingly, you will find such house somewhere else. And what is the worst feature of this home and why? Okay, what is the style of that house? Have them bring a photo or copy of listing if they are from out of town. And what do they like about their current home and what they do not like about their current home. That is most important. So you should ask them, have you seen any homes recently that you have liked? What did you specially like about those house and what did you dislike? What was the reason you didn't buy this house? You describe, you can tell him, describe your ideal home. Advise them of a fact that they may not get everything they want because there is a need and there is a want. So if you found a home that had everything you were looking for but didn't have what you must have, do you want me to show it to you or do you want me to take it off the list of possibilities? Because the answer will tell you if it is a must or a would like item. So the buyer's needs and wants are most important. So needs is what they must have and wants, it can be, it's okay if doesn't can. So then discuss and sign buyer representation agreement, which is the most important part if he signs. So how you promote and protect your client interest. So recommend home inspection, advise your client that this is necessary to avoid larger problem and that resale homes can expect minor deficiencies. Due diligence is required and you need to tell them what step you take to protect them. And an open house, advise them to tell every agent they have an argument with. Suppose if this is an actual listing and you have to buy from me, there is an offer coming and you have to buy now, you should not pitch all these things. Advise them not to leave name and phone number when calling on an advertise. Because they are also doing something, they are also calling some advertisement. So if they are doing it, then you should advise them not to give their name and phone numbers. Instead, they should give that advertise to you and you should follow up. Then review purchase agreement. If you review the purchase agreement, then there are no shocks or surprise later in the deal. So make sure we review clause by clause, deposit requirements, interim finance requirement and importance of making a fair offer. Then you review closing costs, legal fees, property tax adjustment, land transfer tax or property transfer, apartment transfer in society fee, etc. You should discuss procedure followed for viewing homes. So point out it will not take long to buy. Give buyer printout of available listing, brochures, map of the city, email them the listing to review. Keep using the process of elimination. Suppose some house is not as per his requirement, eliminate them. Give them a supply of such listing regularly so that he can decide and then you can go for showing. Be sure to find out when is the best time for them to see homes. Keep in constant contact. So you need to be so busy with your buyer that they never feel neglected. If you are, they will never feel the need for any other agent. So if you are in constant contact always, he will not feel need to meet any other agent in future. So now comes the property selection. So your job is to find a home based on buyer's expectation, which you have arrived by giving buyer's presentation, your buyer interview, you have qualified him by putting so many questions. His financial need is known, his needs and wants are taken care. So now you need to do a property selection based on all these things you have done so far. So your first avenue will be a home the buyer may have already selected through searching the web. Then you follow homes you search for him. Discuss your property requirement in your office sales meeting, because you might not be visiting your office regularly and someone might have that property which you are looking for your client. You can discuss your property requirement in your sales meeting, that I have a buyer and if anyone have a property matching to this requirement, please tell me. You can contact your office regularly with needs and desires of your buyer client, as they may just know of a property you are not aware of, because your office admin have listings in with their books or in their Excel sheet which you might not know. So by doing this, you may close a deal faster. Use classify ads to place property on behalf of your buyer client. Look in iConnect and other portals. Resources are endless to find properties. So you know from where to find property. If buyer is ready, his requirements are set up properly, then you just have to find a property. So make an objective evaluation of each shown property, including positives and negatives. Make objective comparison with competing properties also. Now comes showing property. So please review each point carefully before taking your buyer to sell them a home. Like show your personal listing first. As quickly as possible, separate the looker from the buyer. So there are so many people who are just looker, and there are some who are buyer. So as soon as possible, you should separate the looker from the buyer. So we had initially discussed who can be a serious buyer, right? So listen for buying signal. Make it as easy as possible to buy from you. Always call first before showing the property. Always call back and explain why you didn't show a home you were supposed to. Do not oversell the home prior to the showing. Select a good route to the home, because you might have 2-3 properties to show. So select a good route. As you approach the front desk, as you approach the front door of the showing apartment, you can say, let's look at the home as if it were vacant. Because someone, when sees another's home with furniture and everything inside, he might not have fair idea about the home while it was vacant. Try to save something good for last, but show it to them first. Be enthusiastic. Never make statement, only ask question while showing property. Now comes the due diligence checklist. So you should verify property owners first. The house which you are going to show to your buyer. Obtain copy of building development agreement, etc. Examine location of that home properly. Check for easement and encroachment of building survey. You should verify zoning also. Ask about any existing homeowner's warranty. Verify age of structure and confirm if it is connected to water and sewer. Sometimes if illegal construction do not have water and sewage connections. Verify other utility and estimate their cost. If it is a near a river or stream, we should always check for building permits. Noise pollution, commercial development nearby. Some might not like commercial development near their home. Check comparable values. So all these things comes into due diligence checklist. You should prepare your own according to your area and your zone of working. professional property inspection we have covered. Now protect yourself and your client. Like ensure the offer contains the same information as the feature sheet which you have shown to your client earlier. Ensure that any fixture the buyer is relying on are included. Sellers do not know what a fixture is and remove kitchen cabinet, mirror, shelves, etc. So make sure these things, if a buyer wants, it should be there, or you should advise the seller also. Advise your buyer in writing to get a home inspection. Record in the offer every represented buyer is relying on. Personally check representation buyer are relying on. So you should see the due diligence. Then presenting an offer, it determines the seller's motivation. You should discuss the qualification of your buyer, discuss the deposit, review the benefit of the offer, and then ask for the signature. So sometime there will come a negotiation, it always comes. So you have a responsibility to protect your buyer's interest in negotiation process because you are representing a buyer. In addition, even if the seller is from your side, but if you are a buyer's representative, you should protect the interest of buyer. Do not disclose to the seller any information about your buyer's position, such as whether the buyer has an option on adjoining property. Buyer's identity you should not be disclosed that much, if this would help the seller in negotiation. Provide price counseling to the buyer. Include CMA as always said. Suggest to the buyer financing alternative. In the offer you always ensure you have the required terms and conditions to protect the buyer, including inspection clauses. Buyer should pay for all inspection if required. Okay, now overcoming objections. So objections are fundamental to the selling process and all sales agents should welcome them. This objection provide needed information on the buyer's thought process and allow an agent to narrow their focus on property selection. So without an objection you would be at loss because you will not be able to know what your buyer was thinking while rejecting the offer. So they help you clarify, define buyer's wants and needs. An agent will anticipate objection and will be ready to handle all those objections. Experience will teach you what objections typically come up. So when you will have 4 or 5 buyer mandates and you have worked upon on them, you will have almost many objections and you will have your FAQ ready. So you should have answered all these questions and if possible address them in the buyer interview only. You should also understand that from a buyer's perspective, home buying is a learning process and they may change their needs and wants as they see houses. They might have some needs and they might have some wants, but when they see house, they might change their need and want according to the house. Now there are 4 types of objections: typical objection, handling objection, other buyer objection, and your commission objections. So typical objections are like price is too high. I will talk to someone and then let you know. Oh, it's a bad market as of now, we'll talk later. And say too much taxes, property tax is too much, society transfer tax is too much, we have to think. So you need to find out what those objection really means. You need to understand what the objection means and how it will affect the buyer. You should always try to sell features and benefits and then deal with the objection rather than avoid them, and then move on to the benefits and the wonderful features, subsiding those objections. Then negotiate, look for the solution and final step and give concession for concession. Know when to walk away and find new prospect. If there are so much objection and if you think the objections are baseless, then you should walk away from there, and because there are plenty of more buyers there. Then other buyer objections, they will say we want our parent to see it. So you can say, okay, if your parents are okay and if say the house is okay, are you prepared to purchase? Are you prepared to purchase the house? Okay, we want to think about it, they will say. So you can ask, what do you need to think? Would you like me to arrange a second view when you think over? They will say we would like to see other homes first. So this is a typical situation. So what is in you don't like about this home, you need to ask. You need to ask, does the style of this home suit you or not? How do you feel about the price? Then they might say, we haven't sold our present home yet. So now this is not an objection, but it's a condition, and maybe condition in the offer, because you should have come up this with in a buyer interview only. They say house needs work. So if they find out the house needs works, so who will repair the house? Is this affordability concern? Okay, I will not be able to afford the repairing. So you need to find out whether buyer will have to bear the cost or seller will have to bear the cost. Then comes the typical question of commission cutting. They will say, okay, your commission is little higher, I want to reduce your commission. So if you want to get a full commission, you need to provide good service. And service level in the real estate industry in many cases are appalling. Sales agent who do not know how to handle clients, who do not return calls, who do not give their office a copy of their listings, who do not have keys of the house they are going to show, who in general make it hard to sell their listings. You have to believe in your service if you are going to believe in your fee. Most important factor in getting a full commission is having a good listing presentation that is convincing. This becomes a powerful weapon in commission negotiation. You need to explain the commission breakdown, okay, how it goes, where goes. And when he says, okay, will you cut your commission? You should say no. No is a valid answer. Because when asked if you will reduce your commission, simply say no. And then wait for the client to talk further. A good negotiator will not talk first after saying no. Most of the time the client will say, okay, well, you cannot blame me for asking. But if you will talk first, then you will lose. Because if you have said no, you need to remain silent. If your presentation is great, the commission objection probably will not even come up. Biggest problem is agents cave in too quickly. If you look after the clients, they keep coming back and will have totally forgotten the difference in fees. Inform your customer that if an agent cannot even negotiate their own commission, how do they expect them to get the most money for their home? How will they negotiate for you, for your home price? So have confidence in yourself and your abilities. Know that when you go in, you will get a full commission. This confidence and self-assurance plus the knowledge you have, the service and professionalism to back it up is the reason why you never have to compromise in your commission. Then we will talk about safety consideration. RE/MAX has a safety awareness program called SAFER, SAFER, safety awareness for every realtor. So here are some tips. You do not show a home without knowing the client. You should hold a pre-showing interview with every client in the office or in a public place. Give someone at the office your plan for the day, which outlines where you will be at what time. Be sure to check in regularly. Now the low ball offer. Next. When does it make sense to make a low ball offer? You cannot blame someone for trying to strike a bargain. So the seller has to move or has already vacated the property. Sometimes the seller's sales agent will disclose that a client has a firm date by which he will relocate. or that he has already bought a new home and moved. So in general, if a house is empty, there is a better chance the seller is flexible. This situation makes for extremely motivated seller who may accept a low offer. The home has been listed for more than 90 days and when there is no price change, so few sellers are going to take a low offer right out of the gate. On the other hand, if they have been seeing little activity at the listed price and are considering that dropping in the list price anyway, a low offer may seem more enticing. Then we talk about seminar selling. So seminar can be planned for any number of topics like first time home buyers, apartment ownership, relocation, recreation property, investment property, and you should arrange a seminar by doing direct mail, radio and newspaper advertising, community listing, like you can talk to your real estate association, cold calling, word of mouth, personal invitation. So if you want to arrange a seminar, so there is a suggested timeline. Get in contact with potential partners, create plan to hold seminar, where to hold, on what time to hold, establish team structure, who will be speakers, timing, who will do what and when, establish a budget, who is paying for what, refreshment, hall, audio visual advertising, select a date and location, book well in advance so to avoid a high cost, plan audio video requirement, and now plan the seminar, decide agenda, which video to show, registration, guest speaker, subject covered, etc. Thank you very much. If you have any query, please email us at mgm@remax.in.